Yeah. No, I don't think I'm doing it right. I'm butchering it. I'm botching it. Dominique, help me. Actually, I got nothing to flex, so it's not gonna work out. Dominiquie Vandenberg is in the house. How are you doing, my friend? Welcome
I'm good. Thank
to
you
the
for
Verbal Nectar podcast. Honor to have you here, my friend. I say you have the muscle, I got the fussle. So I'm gonna patent that. I'm gonna patent that. Oh man, thank you so much for hanging out today with the Samurai Guy. Going to talk movies, and I can't wait to see you in the upcoming Hell Hath No Fury. That's right. We're going to talk about that and show some videos, and we got some people showing up here. Heather Love says, "Hey, Phat Samurai Guy in the Dojo Army." Everybody saying hello. All right, let's go ahead and get into it a little bit here. First off, how have you been, my friend?
I've been very well. Been very well.
What have you been up to recently?
Just staying in shape, doing the family thing. Like as I told you before the intro, I just had a boy, so
Congratulations.
Planning on traveling a little bit and showing to my father and stuff. Yeah.
Nice. Copy that. But let's go down memory lane a little bit here. Hold on a second. Let me go ahead and bring up some things here. Hold on one second. All right. Boom. Martial arts, man. So what got you into martial arts?
I as a young kid, I had an excessive amount of energy, and my parents, they didn't know how to deal with me. So I had an older brother that was into judo, and at age 4, after they took me to go and see a doctor and ask him what you could do with this kid, he has so much energy, it's not normal, it's excessive. He said enroll him in sports. And growing up in Europe, the popular sports are soccer or bicycle riding and stuff like that, and that's what my dad really liked. But I wasn't into those sports, so I started doing judo at age 4 because I had a brother that was almost 13 years older, I guess.
Age 4, doing judo already. Oh, yeah. Man.
That's how I got into the martial arts. Yeah.
Wow.
And then it kind of
got hooked, right?
And at age 9, I got into karate and Kyokushin karate first.
Whoosh.
That's
right. Yeah.
Nice. And then when I was 11 or 12, I think, something like that, that's when I started getting into like the Dutch styles of kickboxing and Thai boxing and all of that stuff.
Nice. And one of my favorite fighters, Boss Rutten. I'm sure you know who he is.
I know Boss. I personally know him, actually.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I love Boss. And
character.
Yeah, I know. El Guapo. Yeah.
El Guapo,
and Steven Quadros, all those guys, man. The fight professor.
Fight professor.
Yeah.
Steven.
Yeah. I was fans of those guys from Pride FC days, man. I used to watch love their commentary.
Right. When I first came to Los Angeles, I met Steven actually at the YMCA here in Hollywood.
All right.
He actually got me the job at the Jet Center because Benny the Jet was coming out of retirement.
Okay.
They needed a guy that specialized in Dutch-style kickboxing and Muay Thai. And Steven introduced me to the guys from the Jet Center. So he took me over there. They had me do some sparring with a couple of Benny's guys. And then Benny took me up to Big Bear to help him get ready for that fight. And I also kept working as a sparring partner for Benny Stopp's fighters and taught judo to some of the guys and jiu-jitsu to the boxer that was training there, Hector Lopez and those dudes.
Nice.
And Ricky O'Kane was teaching him how to do Kachakan wrestling and stuff like that. It was great times. But that's how far back Steven goes. We're talking more than 2 decades.
Nice. Yeah, and I enjoyed their commentary for Pride FC. The fights, him and Boss were hilarious.
Yeah, they were playing well with each other. Those guys.
Oh, it was so funny. But Boss, he's legit, and he always said that the best fighters some of the best kickboxers in the world come from Holland and Dutch. He represents. Like some of the best kickboxers ever come from over there. But there's great fighters all over the world. But speaking of kickboxing. So, yeah, let's kind of bounce around here. So you did Burmese boxing? A little bit of Thai?
When I was in the Foreign Legion, my first fight back, because I had a really bad injury, and that's how I ended up in the Foreign Legion.
Right.
I wrecked my leg really, really bad, and I had a fracture in my hip too. In my
It was a car accident, right?
yeah.
Oh,
And
man.
then when I got out of the hospital, I didn't really know what to do with myself. It was kind of like, what am I gonna do now? You know, the doctors told me no martial arts, full contact sports, we get kicked in the leg.
Yeah.
And that's when I started reading up, you know, about the Foreign Legion and all of that stuff, and that's how I ended up in the Legion. But my first leave when I was in the Legion, I ended up going to Thailand.
Okay.
And Sensei Smith, which is a Dutch Kyokushin and kickboxing champion, him and Sensei Roberts, who's a South African judo guy, they set up a fight for me. It was a bare knuckle kickboxing fight.
Yeah.
They didn't necessarily call it Burmese boxing because the fight was in Thailand, but it was bare knuckle and it was similar rules to Burmese. It was, you know, it was a 5-rounder. That fight was 3 minutes, and you could do headbutts and throws and stuff like that.
Oh, so like a little bit of Lithway there.
Similar, yeah.
A little, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, man. So you're just getting back into the fight game. How cool is that?
It was really strange because once I got to Thailand, Sensei Smith and Roberts told me, they said, Dominic, I think we messed up. They pushed the fight by, I think it was 4 or 5 days or something like that.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, F me, you know, I gotta go back to the Legion because
Right.
I'm gonna be late if they push
Right.
the fight. But I was already in Thailand. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. I figure if I had to get back on a Friday around noon to Calvi, which is the place on the island Corsica where the Legion is stationed, if I have to be back there by Friday, there's no way I'm gonna make it back. Even if you know, I take the same day that I do the fight, I take the plane, I will get there Friday around midday or something like that. So
Right.
once I got back to France, I realized, F this, I'm just gonna stay the weekend in Paris, get drunk, have some fun, and go
Right.
back on Monday. Because going back late on a Friday or getting there on a Monday, I'm gonna get Legion jail time and maybe a beating anyway.
Right. Right.
So I figured I'm gonna stay in Paris. And while I was in Paris, the show in Bercy was going on, the Nuit des Arts Martiaux, they call it. And I was drinking, you know, already in the middle of the day as soon as I got back. And I met some firefighters in the bar that were having fun too. And they said, oh, you know, we started chatting and stuff like that. They found out I was a Legionnaire. And a lot of French people, they like Legion guys. Sometimes
Right.
they're afraid of them, but they like them at the same time, kind of.
Yeah.
So I got friendly with those guys, bought them a drink. They bought me a drink. They said, hey, we're doing the fireman security at the Bercy, the Nuit des Arts Martiaux. There's another Belgian that's going to be there. You know, we can get you in. And I
Yeah.
told them I don't have tickets and stuff like that. They said, no, we'll put you in a fireman uniform and you can do the patrols with us, which is completely illegal. And those guys risks their jobs. They give me a fireman uniform and all of that stuff. And I went backstage with them so I could see the show. So while we were doing the patrols backstage, I bumped with one of the firemen, to Jean-Claude Van Damme, because
All right.
he was there at the night, the Nuit des Arts Martiaux, to promote his movie. In Europe, it was called Full Contact. But
Okay.
in America, the film was called Lionheart, I think.
Okay. Oh, wow. Around Lionheart time.
So,
All right.
so you know, we bump into him. I talked to him a little bit in Flemish because it's like Dutch, the language that I grew up speaking.
Okay.
And I think he thought I was just one of the fireman guys. And he was kind of like, wait, this guy's a Belgian guy? He's working as a fireman in France? He had no clue I was a Legionnaire or anything like that. But we chatted
Right.
a little bit and stuff like that. Gave me his phone number because he was staying at the George 5.
Yeah.
And then he just went off to do his demonstration and all that stuff because, like I said, he was promoting the movie Lionheart.
Right.
And it's funny, when I went down to the place with the other fire guy where we could see the big screen before he started doing his demonstration, on the big screen in that movie, Van Damme was playing a Legionnaire that was AWOL, which was so bizarre. And he was wearing the green beret of the two rep.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Airborne regiment, the only airborne regiment and special forces trained regiment in the Foreign Legion. So I'm like, this is so bizarre. And then the next day I called him before I went back to Calvi. and he was still half asleep and groggy in his hotel room, picking up the phone. I think he had a late night or something like that. But that was so bizarre, you know. And then I went back to the real world, which was the Foreign Legion, getting back to Corsica, and then doing my jail time and all of that stuff for being a couple days late.
Right.
You know.
Wow. He's ran into Van Damme. Are you a fan of a lot of his movies? Or are you kind of picky on which ones you like?
I because he is from my country too, I think what he has done is fantastic. It's unbelievable that a guy from a small country like that comes to America with no green card and all of that stuff. So of course I'm a fan, you know. Being in the industry for 2 decades, I know when you make it in this industry, you gotta have thick skin, you know.
Yeah.
It's not a given. You gotta really work hard.
Yeah. And he's made some classics, man. Kickboxer, Bloodsport, all that stuff.
Oh, all of that stuff, yeah.
Classics.
Yeah, and when I told the guys in the Legion, you know, this guy from my country that, you know, because I used to read articles about Van Damme when he was competing in semi-contact and contact karate in Belgium and in Europe and stuff.
Right.
He became a champion, and then he started fighting in kickboxing, but the kickboxing without the low kicks. In Europe, they call it boxe américaine, which means American boxing, which is kickboxing, no low kicks, no elbows and stuff like that. So I would see him sometimes in the same magazines in Belgium that did a write-up about me. And I knew who he was, but I didn't know he had become a movie star. And when I met him there, I was like, wow, this is pretty, you know, good for the guy. That's very, very cool.
Right. Now, that kickboxing record that they have of his that's on the internet, so that's all legit.
I'm going to tell you right now, I know a lot of people say Van Damme might be not legit or stuff like that. Van Damme is legit.
There you go.
I read stuff about Van Damme in newspapers and in magazines and stuff like that way before he became an actor. Van Damme was I think it's called semi-contact or contact karate. He was Belgian European champion in that. And then he was second in the world championships. I think it was in Florida in boxe américaine. You know, it was as an amateur. He wasn't a professional fighter in the kickboxing, but Van Damme was a legit champion. He's a legit martial artist. I think what happened is when he came to the US, he started focusing more on lifting weights and stuff like that, movies, and he probably stopped sparring because when you're in film, you don't want to get your face bashed in.
Right.
But Van Damme, anyone that knows a little bit about martial arts, you can tell the guy's kicks are legit. You can't fake that.
Oh, no.
And if Van Damme wanted to go pro in boxe américaine, if he had worked on his hands a little bit, he could have done that like Bill Wallace did. Because Bill Wallace had great kicks. Superfoot, yeah. But to make those kicks work, you got to set that up with good English boxing.
Right.
You know, and all Van Damme had to do is to go and work with a good boxing coach, and he would have done very well, and he would have made those kicks land because of the boxing.
Right. What did you think of his Legionnaire movie?
I have to be honest with you, I never saw the Legionnaire movie. I saw most of his other stuff. I've seen bits and pieces of it. He plays a boxer in that, or am I right?
Yeah, and then he goes into it, the Legion later, and becomes a Legionnaire. I remember it being. I've only seen it once, but I remember it being entertaining. But it's been a long time. So.
It was old school Legion, right? Like the old Legion, not modern day Legion.
I think it was period. It was a period piece. Yeah,
a period piece. That's what I was
yeah. There we go. We have.
Check it out now. Now that you mentioned that again, what I tell people here in America that I was in the Foreign Legion or whatever, they're like, "Oh, what's it? The Flying Deuces, Laurel and Hardy."
Wow.
No, it wasn't quite like that. But I remember watching that movie as a kid with Laurel and Hardy, and also Bo Jest and all of these movies. Because in those days, people made a lot of. I guess Hollywood was intrigued by the Foreign Legion.
Right.
Today, the Foreign Legion it's a modern day fighting force that is really unique to anything in the world, really.
Right. And how long were you? Did you serve?
I did 5 years, sir. Yeah.
Oh wow.
The minimum is 5 years. It's a 5-year contract. After basic training, it's kind of, you know, when I joined up in the Legion, I stayed in Obang for a while. It's the place where they do your background check and all of the stuff. And we call the guys that work with Interpol, we call them the Gestapo, because they do
Okay.
all the like forced interrogations and stuff like that
Yeah,
to find out you're not lying, and even though they know who you really are already, they
right.
still go through this whole process, and then you do the physical, obviously, and all the testing for about a month and a half, and they give you different colors. If I remember well, it goes from yellow to green, green to red. And then when you become red, after the month or so, month and a half, sometimes 2 months, depending on if you have a criminal background, you want to change your name, all of these things, then they send you off to basic training, which is normally it's 4 months. But we had our basics under Captain Eberle, was just a brutal captain. And half of the people that started it, we were about 80, I think, when we started. 3 months in, half of the guys dropped out, that they couldn't hack it, so they had to replace it from a different company to make a full company again to make us finish, and it was almost 6 months our basic. And then you do at the end of those basic training, you do the Kepi Blunt March and all of that stuff. Right. And then the top 5 guys, they can pick what regiment they go to, and of course I wanted to go to the 2 Rep because that's the legendary airborne special forces and commando trained regiment in the Legion.
Right. The elite, basically.
It's the best regiment in the Legion.
Wow.
And I met some of the most interesting individuals in there. Like, compared to the celebrities that I met in Hollywood and working with the celebrities, these guys had some real interesting stories.
Oh, man.
And
you tell a lot of that in your book, correct?
I do, but the book, The Iron Circle, it's not all fact. And I mentioned that probably in about 12 or so interviews before. When Rick and I originally wrote this book, it was all factional. But then the company before this company that wanted to publish it, they started changing a whole bunch of stuff. And I wasn't happy by the way it was going. So I told them, okay, since you're changing so much of the book, why don't we make it a fiction book then? And they didn't like that at all. So they put a plug on it. Send a new company, the company that ended up publishing came in, and Rick and I went in and we changed all the fictional BS and made it fact again.
All right.
And then those guys, before it got published, never proofread the book because I was out of the country. I think I was working on a commercial or something in Europe. Then I realized same thing happened again. They didn't touch the Legion stuff because back then there was very little on the internet about the Foreign Legion, but the martial arts stuff, they made it like a Hollywood B movie, which I was really pissed off about.
Oh, wow.
Because the real stuff, I was really part of an elite Budo karate group.
Yeah.
And that was so much cooler than the way they made it like a B movie, fighting guys from different styles. That we had a world open in Budapest, but we weren't fighting guys from different styles.
Right.
They were all people that were within the Kundokan Karate Budo group. And that had no relation to the Okinawan Judokan or the Kyudokan groups. Those are different karate groups too that are mainly focused on Goju Ryu.
Yeah.
The Kundokan Budo group under Mikio Sensei, it combined Goju Ryu and other karate styles, but also old school Kodokan Judo and Kito Ryu Jiu-Jitsu. So all of the guys within the group had to be brought in, have a background in karate and judo, and then be invited in by people that were already in. But it was really hardcore, full contact, bare knuckle. Ooh. But just like it says in the book, we weren't fighting guys from other styles. That's the other writers that came in that quote unquote came to clean things up or script doctor it, and they messed it up.
It sounds like they just watched Bloodsport and they're like, hey.
Yeah. A friend of mine mentioned that. He said these idiots must have watched Bloodsport and thought,
They loved you in Mortal Kombat and they were like, hey, Mortal Kombat, let's use that plot synopsis.
No, I totally agree.
I mean, even though go ahead.
The book is still a really good read.
Okay.
It's entertaining. And all of the stuff that is Legion or my childhood, they didn't touch on that stuff.
Good.
Because like I said, back then, there was nothing on the internet about the Legion. It was a very mysterious organization. So they kept the story that's spot on.
So that's all still legit.
That's legit, yeah.
Nice. Awesome. Cool. Mm-hmm. All right. Even though you're still in shape and you're still a badass, do you miss competing?
Well, after the war in Yugoslavia, I went to Thailand. And I love the competition, don't get me wrong. I love the preparation. I love the discipline. I love the fighting. what I didn't like was the slimy promoters and managers. Once you start winning fights and they try to sign you up for 2 and 3 and 4 years or whatever, I wasn't there for that.
Yeah.
I was living in the boxing camps in Thailand to forget about the memories in my mind, the memories from Yugoslavia, from the Legion, all that stuff. It was like a decompression chamber for me, living in the camp, training, the discipline. On weekends, I would sometimes go out to go to the temple. I got into Buddhism and all of that stuff. That was all very, very cool. But after a while, they kept pushing me so much, the slimy promoters and managers, to sign me up, that I thought, I'm done with this. And that's when I came to the United States and started my life here.
Right.
Ended up in the movie industry by fluke, really.
Oh, wow. Okay. So it wasn't like a goal. It just kind of happened.
Well, to be honest with you, sir, the skills that I learned in the Foreign Legion, they don't apply to anything really in civilian life. If I first came here, I could have got my green card and maybe become a cop, but that's not my character. I'm not a volatile individual that wants to give tickets to people for jaywalking and stuff like that. That's not who I am. The other work or job that would apply to would be security work, which I did for a little while, but it doesn't pay very much. And when you work for celebrities doing bodyguard work, it's like babysitting. I have some of my friends that still do it, that back then, when we first came out, we were working together. We were working at clubs like The Gate and stuff like that, and we're working for celebrities, but it's not a job that pays very much, and it's not a job that is exciting. The movie industry, it's always different. It's exciting. It's very difficult, but it's the only place really where those military skills I can apply to action film, because to edit anything in real life, and I don't want to go back to private military contracting or independent work. I'm married now. I have a young kid. Those days are over.
Yeah, copy that. Joe here, Shipley says, "What an amazing guest." You got some fans showing up here.
Thanks, Joe. I appreciate that, mate. Really appreciate it.
But yeah, I mean, it's awesome, your martial arts journey. It's a pretty awesome story. And look at this guy. Look at this guy. No wires. No wires.
Watch on those rocks in Corsica.
Is this one? Is this your sensei?
That's my current sensei now. That's Gomyo Hiroshi sensei. He's an unbelievable karateka who approaches karate as a Budo karateka too. He was the top student under Yoshiaku Chujikawa. And Chujikawa was 9 dan directly under Kenwa Mabuni, who created Shidoryu karate. And Chujikawa was the only one under Mabuni that kept it Budo karate. All the other top students of Mabuni, they changed, even his own kids, and they made it into like sports karate.
Yeah.
Chujikawa sensei, he kept it real hardcore Budo karate. And Gomyo Hiroshi was the top student of Chujikawa sensei. So it comes direct from that lineage,
Right. Copy that.
It's not the karate, like when people think of karate here in America, they think of the kids in the dojos doing kata and screaming and stuff like that.
Right. No.
Which they're like daycare centers,
pretty much.
We're talking about really hardcore karate.
Right.
That I have to admit that whether it's the Kundokan Karate Budo group or the Godojuku group with Gomyo Hiroshi sensei, those groups, it's as brutal but more technical than Thai boxing. Because Thai boxing, it's very basic. When you look at it at the score, it's very brutal and it's very effective. But the old school karate, if it's taught right, it has a lot more techniques than you will find even in Muay Thai.
Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome.
So
is this still happening here? March with the Devil?
That's a documentary. That's out. I think it's available on Amazon. I'm not sure.
Okay, so just check Amazon.
Salmon King directed that, but it's very artsy. It does, it shows some of my Legion pictures and stuff like that. Yeah. But it's more of an art piece than a hardcore Legion documentary. Salmon King did that before he passed away from cancer.
Sorry to hear that.
Lynch,
sorry to hear that. So this is just kind of like a little taste.
It's a little taste. Talks. It's like a long interview, really, but it has some cool stuff.
All right, I'll still try to check it out. Awesome. But yeah, of course, my introduction to you, and it was funny because when I was did the trailer reaction with Jesse V. Johnson last week,
Right.
I mentioned it to him. I was just like, so now that I have the legend here, everybody, man, when Mortal Kombat came out, and it came to that scene in the banquet scene with Sub-Zero was over here, and this badass came out. This guy and did like some amazing shadow boxing, and it was just like it was so fast. What was that, like 8 movements in 1 second? Like it was ridiculous. And me and all my friends.
On the road back then. That was my first job in the movie industry.
Me and my friends was like, Sub-Zero would have got his ass whooped. Like we said that in the, when we got out of the theater. We still say it now. We still talk about it now. We're like, there was no way Sub-Zero. That's why he had to cheat. You know what I'm saying? He had to be way over there and cheat. Yeah, it was like no way. He was gonna get destroyed. But yeah, how was? Did you meet? Did you meet Jesse V. Johnson here on the set of Mortal Kombat, or you guys met up later?
No, yes, sir. That's what we met. Jesse and I met on Mortal Kombat, and we hit it off right away because he's into film. He's into a lot of the old classics like myself, Seven Samurai, Yojimbo, all of the, and we liked a lot of the similar stuff, and we just hit it off, and we both, when I did Mortal Kombat, I had the bug. I'm like, you know what? This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I survived all this crazy stuff in the Legion. This is what I want to do, and I'm just gonna go for it.
Yeah.
Jesse and I, over the years, we kept working together. We started off doing little reels together, doing a short film, then the first feature film, The Honorable, all that stuff, and we just kept working together.
Nice. And it's awesome. You guys work great together. It's like every time I watch Jesse's movies, I was like, there's Dom. Kicking ass, taking names. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. Wait, what? He's in the chat. Yes, he's in the chat right here. What's going on, brother? Hope you're doing well, my friend. The real thing, the legend, Love Dom. Have him talk about his character in Hell Hath No Fury. We're leading up to it. We're gonna get there. Yeah, and definitely enjoyed you in this. And like you were saying, you started getting in the industry and doing stunt work and stuff like that, and martial arts work. The best fight in barbed wire was your fight, by the way. Like that whole action sequence.
Appreciate that.
I mean, everything else, nobody cared about anything. Like in terms of like, and like an action sequence. Like this was the best part. This was like the most intense part of that movie, man. Your fight, obviously, no big surprise there. So the Death Row tournament here. This was the short you guys made, right?
That was the short we did together after we did some reels and stuff together. Yeah, that was and after that we realized we should have just done a feature instead of just doing a short, and that's why we decided to do The Honorable next. Yeah.
Right, or the Doorman, right?
The Doorman was the original title. Yes.
I enjoyed this. I had fun with it. Let's see here, but the one where I was just like, all right, I got to try to do my best to follow this guy's career, was when I came across this little badass hardcore gem right here, Pit Fighter, man. Pit Fighter. I was like, what? I was like, what is Pit Fighter? I got to rent this.
Many moons ago, that was.
I know, and I rented it, and I immediately went out and bought it. Like it was, I was like, this dude is legit in this movie. I was like, who is this guy? Who is this guy? This dude is badass.
Pit Fighter was supposed to be the film that put me on the map, and it did in a way. When Spike picked it up and it started running on Spike a lot, and they kept running it and running it and running it. I remember one day I was walking down the street, and these two people, they started following me on the street, and they called me with my name. Hey, Vandenberg, Dominic, and I'm like, holy F. So in my mind, I'm like, are those people from my past that maybe are related to some of the stuff that I was doing in Yugoslavia or stuff that I was doing with the Legion? Right. So it kind of freaked me out a little bit. And then when I was offered to do Pit Fighter 2 and stuff like that, I kind of stepped back a bit from the whole thing because back then I didn't know, am I ready for this? Because my background, it's not a Hollywood-made background. That's real stuff.
Right.
That's real, some of it bad stuff.
Right.
So I was thinking maybe I shouldn't get out there, my name out there like that, and people that maybe were my enemy combatants, and they can easily find me.
Right, gotcha.
And that's why I kind of backed off of the whole thing a bit and stepped back, got into real estate and did other stuff. And then I realized now, a couple of years ago, you know what? I'm just going to give it my all and do my own movie. That's when we did The Mercenary, the movie Jesse directed before Hell Had No Fury.
And we're gonna get to that as well.
Give it 100% now, you know, and just go for it. You know, it took real guts for me to join the Legion, but it took more guts to leave the place. Because at the end of my contract in the Legion, you know, in the Legion, you just have to be ready for war at any given notice. Right. But other than that, you're taken care of. And you belong to a family that will never abandon you, no matter how hard things get. And in civilian life, that is very, very difficult to find. So leaving that place for me was very difficult. And that's when I got a call from an officer that was he was my superior officer doing an intervention in Rwanda before the genocides went down over there. Yeah. He called me after my Legion contract was done. He says, Dominic, you want to come and work for SAD NATO and come on as a support sniper? We go in after these Serbian death squads. And I had been back in Belgium for a couple of weeks already, and I didn't belong there. Like all my friends that I went to high school with, my path was a completely different path. I couldn't relate to anybody. And I had started getting social anxiety because you have that feeling like you don't belong in this place. Yeah. And that's when I started going back and doing the independent work until after the war in Yugoslavia, when I ended up leaving to Thailand.
Right. And then slowly you started to get comfortable.
Little by little,
right?
But when I first came to America, I had a really nice apartment. Not after I lived at the YMCA first, then I lived in the hood for a little while. And it was funny, when I lived in the hood, I was training at the Jet Center. One of these kickboxers asked me, say, Don, where do you live, man? You know, so I live there. And then he goes, dude, that's the hood. And I never heard that word, the hood, before. Because in Europe, the bad neighborhoods, we refer to them as ghettos. Right. And I didn't know that the place I was living until I moved in. In the daytime, guys were selling crack right in front of my house and stuff. Right. You know? It's like, oh, I guess this neighborhood isn't that kosher, you know. And then little by little, then I moved to a really nice apartment. But that, you know, even when I moved to the really nice place, I didn't have furniture in my place, and sometimes I had that anxiety where I would go down to Skid Row and sleep on Skid Row, even though I had close to $1 million in my bank account from doing independent jobs. Right. Wow. Just didn't belong. Going to the grocery store, my hands would start sweating. I think people are looking at me all the time and stuff like that. Yeah, yeah. And I would go to there because the crazy homeless people and the druggies and the mentally ill, they had the same eyes that I had. I didn't have to pretend to be anything else. Right. I was accepted there. Right. This was bizarre. You know? I know that's maybe strange.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah. But look at you now. You got a son.
Yeah,
you know? Yeah. Hey, things are looking up, man. Yeah. And we'll get to the mercenary in a second here. But you got Brandon Lewis here saying big fan. There we go. Let's see here. Jesse here says, even when he's not in my movies, he's there because I base most of my characters on him. You're there in spirit, Dom. This guy.
Oh man.
And AJ Mason says, Pit Fighter made me a fan. There you go. Got some people showing some love. All right, let's keep it going here. All right, so I was always a fan of this movie, an animated film, Beowulf. And you helped with some of the fight choreography, right? Yes?
I was originally hired as after Gangs of New York, I could have done anything as a coordinator.
Right.
I didn't like doing coordinating or fight choreography very much. You know, it's it's as much as a cheerleader job as it is a choreography or coordinating job. You gotta kiss the ass of the celebrities a little bit, and I'm not very good at that. Yeah. You know, I say it as it is, and usually they can't handle that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So after Gangs, I didn't take any of those jobs. I took Beowulf many years later. I was up against Master Wu Ping, actually. He was up for the same job. But
wow.
Yeah, I ended up getting it probably because it was cheaper than him, you know. And I took the job because I had friends that hadn't worked that much, and I knew I would be able to hire those guys if I, you know, I came on as a fight choreographer, but I hired stunt coordinators and all of the stunt guys and stuff like that, so I could help a lot of people. And a buddy of Jesse and I, Garrett, you know, he had just had some issues and he was in the hospital for a while and all that stuff. So I brought him on too, and
Right.
that's why I took the job. Now I would go back to choreography because I have a kid now, so I have to think in a different way. But back then I wasn't pursuing that at all.
Right. Well, let's show a little clip here. I'm trying to bring it up of some of the Beowulf choreography. It was pretty fascinating to check it out here. Let's go ahead and show, and you can add your commentary to it. It's really quick. It's like a minute.
Sure.
Let me go ahead and bring it up here so that chat could follow along here. Let's check this out. There we go. Blow it up. All right. So was this a long process?
I think the whole movie was about 5 or 6 months. There was some pickup stuff. There was some rehearsal stuff before, but like I said, it was not one of my favorite projects because we were in this mocap environment where you're in this little area the whole time, and it wasn't. When I'm on a set, and I'm sure Jess will agree with me like that, I like to smell the blanks when you fire guns. I like to, you know, smell the sweat of people, and in those cold environments that mocap is, you don't. It's very different. Not a real environment. I like to really feel and be there when I'm on set.
Right, man. You got wire work and everything going here. This is crazy. All right.
All of each experience brings a different memory, brings a different thing, and in the end, like I said, I have no regrets in my life. Very few people can say, I should have done this. But even from the mistakes that I made in my life, and I've made plenty of them, it gave me wisdom in a weird sort of way.
Yeah.
Each time you learn a little bit and you move on and try to learn whether it's a good or a bad experience, and try, if it's a bad experience, try to not have it happen.
Right. This is still phenomenal stuff though, man.
Thanks. I really appreciate that.
Nice. And let's have some more fun here. I want to go back to, let's get into this here. Sorry, I've been watching some Iron Maiden there. Hold on.
I used to listen to those guys when I was a teenager, rocking out of it.
Hey, all right.
Doing my shadow boxing and stuff.
hey. That's why you're my guy. All right. So before I play this for chat that's watching, you want to explain the concept and what this prison fight put together, and what was this all about?
This was a character that Jess and I created, and it was really for a 3D test for an AR VR company that at the time I was an executive board member, Magic Leap Studios. Maybe you heard of it. And we were doing that in the hopes of getting the real action, you know, VR, AR, and stuff, get that going, but with real live action.
Right. All right.
And the character, you know, is this Russian. In this sequence that I think they're going to show, he's about to break out of jail.
Copy that. Well, I enjoyed it. I thought it was phenomenal, but I just wanted to show it to chat so they can at least check it out, and you can give your commentary over it. We'll be able to hear the sound, but the sound will be turned off for them. But let's go and have some fun with this one. But yeah, this was phenomenal, man. This was great.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
Look at this guy. How long did all of this take? Is this video is like 10 minutes, almost 10 minutes.
If I recall well, and you might have to double check with Jess, I think we did that in a day and a half or something like that.
Okay.
And that fireball that you just saw there surpassing me, that burned the F out of me.
Oh, shit.
The ceiling was so low, and the special effects guy set the bomb off too early.
Right.
So when the fire comes past me, that's not CGI. That's real fire coming past me.
Oh, shit.
Actually, I had 2nd and 3rd degree burns all over my shoulders and back.
Oh, my God.
And, when the fire passed me, you can see I was throwing my arms up, and that prevented my ears from getting burned off. Because the soft tissue in my ears, it would have burned that off if I didn't have my arms up, that reaction.
Oh, my God.
That day, we had the ambulance come. I was outside in the ambulance for about a half an hour or so. They treated me, and then I went straight back and we finished off. But when I came home at night and I took my shirt off, like new layers of skin were coming off with it. It was pretty badly burned.
Oh my God! Well,
and
I'm
I
glad
still
you're okay.
have some marks on my back from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But yeah, that place where we shot was kind of a haunted place. People were telling me was this like mental hospital downtown.
Oh really?
Mental hospital or something. I forgot the name of it.
Right.
But it was like, and it was spooky when you go all the bottom. And they had all these beds still there where they used to tie the people to the beds. And,
Yeah. Oh my God.
Confirmations and stuff that
Yeah.
they're mentally ill.
Yeah.
They would put them in ice beds and stuff like that. It was really eerie place.
Now, all these stunt guys you're working with, you guys worked with us in Jesse's movies before?
Yeah, it's China McCoy right there in that scene.
Okay.
He's the guy that I fight in twice, I guess, in Pit Fighter.
Right.
He's the main guy that I fight in Pit Fighter.
Put on that rear naked there.
A lot of the guys, Jesse and I work with our old friend Luc Lafontaine a lot. Luc Lafontaine is a solid dude, and he will go beyond what's asked from anyone. Cool cap, really.
Nice. So like this angle, this shot would have really benefited the 3D effect.
Oh yeah. All of that stuff, if those guys at Magic Leap had jumped on that, it could have been something very, very cool.
Yeah. I could see that in 3D. That was pretty awesome. You know what? I'm loving the squibs, man. I am loving the beautiful bloody squibs.
Jesse's guys love the big blood-hit squibs, and those mother effers, when they set them off, you could feel it on your chest. It's not like really getting shot. Those experiences too. I got blasted as you saw.
Oh, that was nice right there.
But it still gives you a good impact. Those big squids that Jesse likes to put on me. Jesse knows he can push the envelope with me, so.
You didn't really have to act that much. You didn't really have to act that much. You just felt the impact.
He's like, oh, Dom, that animal. Just put some bigger squibs on him.
When did this? I love that right there. When you hit pound the ground, that's great. Boom, love that. When did this come out again? When did you do this?
Oh, I think that was. You have to double check me on that.
Okay, I'll have to double check.
I think it was 2013. Something like
2013. Because to be honest, man, to be honest, oh God, that was like 50 hit combo right there. That's insane. Oh no. Oh, what did Phil do to you, man? Oh, beat up Steve and Hank. Oh, take that, Hank. No, the only reason I'm asking because I'm wondering. If the Netflix series, the Netflix Punisher series, actually it was Daredevil season 3 on Netflix. They have a prison fight, and it's all one take. And this is kind of reminding me of it. I wonder if they saw this, man.
I saw a movie with I forgot what the name is, but it was with Jason Statham and The Rock in it. And there was a few sequences in there that looked just like the sequence.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
The thing I didn't see the whole movie,
right?
But someone mentioned it to me, and then I looked it up on YouTube, and I'm like, wow, it looks like they watched your stuff, and maybe
they must have, man.
Borrowed a little bit from it.
So right now, even though you're holding him up, you're still feeling the impact from the squibs.
Not the squibs that are on him, you don't feel, but when they put them on your chest,
that's when they
put bigger loads on it. You can feel it. Like in Hell Had No Fury, the squibs that they put on, I could feel those mother efforts.
Nice. I can't wait to talk about that when we get to it. I'm sorry, I just had to show this to Chad.
No.
Commentary.
Totally. I'm surprised you did. The whole research. I really appreciate it. Most people they just go straight to whatever they're promoting. But I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity to show all this stuff.
Yeah, man, you got a legacy, my friend.
People will go back and look at that.
Hell yeah, this is amazing. That's an interesting camera angle. I like that camera angle.
Man, this brings back memories, I gotta tell you.
This is phenomenal, man. Like this is phenomenal. Like this is great. This is great stuff. Terry, no.
Yeah, that was actually, I think that was a youth prison, that area where we were filming in.
Yeah.
That was shut down or something.
Ooh.
That was a reform prison or something for
Flying knee.
kids, I think.
All right.
That was a cool space to film in, actually.
This was a bad day to be a prison guard. You know what this is? This is one of those, whoever survives this,
It was super hot day we were filming that, and those poor bastards were in those heavy outfits. A couple of them passed out, actually, because they were wearing all that gear, and it was a super, super hot day. And a couple of the dudes, they went woozy, you know, because they're in these hot black outfits.
Right, right. So they got dehydrated, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Look at that. Yeah, whatever guards survive this, you know it's going to be one of those, don't tell anyone this happened.
You can see the marks there on my shoulders.
Yeah.
Those are real burns from that burn.
Yeah. The Dom pose. Boom. Now we got the music pumping up a little bit. What's this song from?
That was a French rap song that Jesse found somewhere.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, French. I'm pretty sure it was a French lady rapper.
All right. I can dig it. Can't hold Dom down, son. It's just a matter of time. Boom. You're gone. Whee! Oh.
Yeah, those guys earned their keep that day. A lot of those, because it was 3D, the filming.
Yeah, yeah.
It had to be real contact on the guys. Not
Oh, wow. Real
not
contact.
Nice.
Nice.
100%, but at a good 50%, because the way it was shot, if you don't make contact, you know, it would read on camera on 3D.
Right, right.
Distance, you know. This guy took
Gotcha.
that kick on the top of his helmet.
So you really make an impact on these guys.
I do, like I said, I don't go.
Right,
I'm not trying to
right.
knock these poor
Oh,
bastards out,
jump
but
kicking it.
make some contact, because if you don't, the camera would read that you're not making contact.
Look at him showing off. Look at that. Nice. That was phenomenal, my friend.
Man, that brings back memories.
That was phenomenal. and this one fight was better than the entire movie of Snake Eyes. All right. I'm here all week, folks.
But thank you.
That was phenomenal. I just wanted to share that with chat there. But yeah, we'll briefly talk about your Gangs of New York involvement. So you had to train. Did you train just the main stars, or you choreograph the fights as well?
I choreographed the fights with some other people. There was a local guy from Italy and some other people.
Okay.
I had previously worked with Andy Armstrong on a Tim Burton Timex campaign, and Andy Armstrong really hit it off with me, and he liked the stuff that I was doing. And he recommended me to his brother, Vic Armstrong, who's a legendary, you know, Hollywood stunt coordinator, director, everything. Vic is just a legend. And they were looking at American ex-commandos and special forces guys too.
Yeah.
But a lot of these guys, they didn't know about the period styles that they're using back then in the 1800s. And I, as a kid, I trained in catch wrestling, because the butcher's father that I was an apprentice under when I was going to butcher apprentice school, he was a catch wrestler, and he taught me catch wrestling. So I before I got the job for Gangs of New York, I did these tapes to send to Scorsese, and he watched them and he loved the stuff, because I had done my research of what the period styles were. And I originally I wanted to teach Leonardo savate de rue, it's called, which is old school French kickboxing,
Right.
or savate.
Savate, yeah.
They call it savate de rue, which means the savate of the streets, in which you can headbutt and eye gouge and all that stuff.
Right.
but Leo, he had a surgery on his leg, so he couldn't do the savate moves. So that's why I decided to teach him old school bare knuckle boxing and then
Nice.
can wrestling, as two of the styles.
Nice.
And Daniel, I trained in knife fighting and stuff like that, and
Right.
got those guys ready to choreograph everything and do all of the fights. Liam, he had just come of a motorcycle accident, so he could barely walk.
Oh,
So we were very limited of what we could do in the fight scene between Liam Neeson and Daniel Day-Lewis, because he had this motorcycle accident where he got badly hurt. And
Right.
even though we had 2 or 3 doubles for Mr. Neeson, sometimes you cannot show because of the camera angles. You have to really use Liam. So we were very, limited of what we could do with him because his movement, because of the accident, but it was very limited.
Wow. Well, all the fighting combat and everything was phenomenal in Gangs of New York, man. It was really good stuff. Brutal, violent.
Thanks.
This character, man, I'm telling you, this might be my favorite character that Daniel Day-Lewis played.
The Butcher.
The Butcher, man.
Daniel is a very disciplined individual. That guy would show up. I would go to the gym before I go to set at like 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Sometimes I would get there at 5, and he would already be there skipping rope. Because he had trained with a professional boxer for this boxing movie that he'd done before.
The boxer, yeah.
Yeah, and it would be just me in the gym, and we would talk about the knife fighting and all of the stuff, and he would ask me. He was actually one of the first people to read my biography when it was factual still, before they published it.
Right.
And he read it, and he really enjoyed it. He told me.
Nice.
Yeah, he was an interesting cat.
It was cool working with Scorsese.
Yeah, Marty, not kissing ass here, because I said no to other jobs that I was offered with him after. I really enjoyed working with Marty, and he's one of the all-time greats. Obviously, it was really a great experience. Thanks to Vic Armstrong, of course. Who I always have to be grateful to that. Vic and Andy Armstrong were the guys that brought me in.
Yeah. Shout out to the Armstrongs.
Oh yeah,
Scorsese's movies are just amazing. Like really.
Yeah, that was a trip. We were there for, I think it was about 10 months or something like that in Italy, which was pretty awesome. In the morning, before I go to the gym on set, I would go for long runs on the old Appian Way, and those were the same roads the gladiators would take into Rome before getting to the Colosseum. And it running on those roads and thinking in my head what these guys might have been thinking on their way to the Colosseum. It was like just a great feeling.
Yeah. Copy that. We got Alien Agent here. That's right. Yep. You're a badass in this, man.
Sartak.
Sartak. Right. Sartak. Alien Agent. We got the Hitman Diaries.
Yep.
And Green Street Hooligans 2. This was a fun fight. I love this opening fight here.
I forgot about that, man. I've been doing so much stuff with Jesse, I realize,
And The Perfect Sleep. I enjoyed that fight with the big man there. I liked your dialogue with him. You're like, you move pretty good for a big man, but
something like that. Yeah.
I'm gonna end it now. It was something cool like that. And then I love how after you beat him and knocked him out, you did a little shadow boxing.
Right.
That was cool. You just
Gary
walked off.
Oldman did a whole skit on that movie. It's on the internet somewhere.
Really?
Yeah. You should look up Gary Oldman and Bas Rutten talking about The Perfect Sleep. There's a whole skit that they did. It's funny as
hell. I gotta see that.
Yeah. Bas beating up on a dummy. And Gary
I gotta see that. Oh my god.
And stuff. Yeah, it's funny stuff.
Oh, how funny is? Oh, I gotta watch that. So out of Alien Agent, The Hitman Diaries, Green Street Hooligans 2, and The Perfect Sleep. Any of those you have like this one? This one here is one of my favorite fight scenes I've done. They're all kind of equal.
That's a tough,
That's tough, huh?
It's tough to move on the back, Because a lot of times when you do independent films or lower budget films, you don't have the time that you should be having to do what you really want to do.
Right.
And then you go work as a coordinator or whatever, or actor on a really big movie. So you have all the time in the world, but then you have a star that has 2 left feet that doesn't want to do the practice.
Right.
And here you have 10 days to shoot one fight scene, but you have a big star actor that doesn't want to put in the time to rehearse and do all that stuff. So it's a give and take kind of thing, you know?
I'll say it's all equal. I'll give you a break. You enjoyed all of them. You enjoyed all the fights. Speaking of masters that are, masters of their craft, how did you hook up with Yuen Wu Ping, man? With True Legend.
I got a call from a friend of mine. God, I'm blanking right now. Big Mike. Big Mike called me and he says, Dom, you want to come out to China and do a fight scene with the main character in this new Wu Ping movie?
Yeah.
And I'm like, China? Not that keen going out there for that long and stuff like that. But he said, yeah, David Carradine is in the movie. And I'm like, wow, I used to watch the Kung Fu series when I was a kid. So my nerd came out in me. I said, oh man, I gotta do this. So I said to Big Mike, I said, okay, Big Mike, just sign me up, whatever it is. I can get beat up by a tranny or whatever, I don't care. Do whatever you need to do to me. I'll come down and I can hang out with David Carradine a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. Oh, that's pretty funny.
The thing on the movie is that they didn't use me more. I got really sick on that movie.
Oh, okay.
Like the first day that I got to China, I went on a run and I got lost a little bit and it ended up being a 2-hour run coming from California there in the mountains, super cold, and I just had like a tank top on.
Yeah.
So the second or third day that I was there, I got sick and they wanted to give me medicine and stuff like that, but I'm not big on taking medicine. I didn't want to take any medicine.
Right.
And then the virus or the cold, whatever it is that I had, turned into full-blown pneumonia. So by the time it was time for me to start doing my fight scenes, I could barely walk. I was that sick.
Right.
And,
my God.
By the time the movie was, my stuff was done, when I flew back on the plane, I thought I was going to croak of being on the plane. I thought I was not going to make it back to LA. I felt that sick.
Oh my goodness.
So when I got to LA, I went to my doctor here right away and they took the x-rays and stuff like that. And I had spots on my lungs the size of quarters. It had turned into full-blown pneumonia.
Oh my God.
My doctor told me, says, Dominic, if you stayed there a week longer, you would have probably died from that virus and pneumonia that you have.
Wow.
So I came back home and my wife saw me. I lost like 10 pounds or something like that. And I was in bed for for me to be in bed for 2 or 3 days on vacation, it takes a lot because I'm kind of a guy when I get sick, I eat some oranges. Yeah. And I train the same way that if I'm not sick, I hit the back still every day for an hour and a half and go running in the morning and at night for sparring or whatever. I do the same thing, sick or not sick, but I was knocked out in bed, like just really, really sick. But that being said, the memory of drinking vodka with David Carradine on set at 9 a.m. in the morning, that was priceless. He had a flask in his pocket. He goes, hey, Dominic. He's like waving me over. What's going on, Mr. Carradine? And he goes, here. And we would take shots of vodka at 9 a.m. on the set, It's like, that's badass.
Yeah, you started calling him Kane, later, like, Kane, how you doing?
In my head, I'm like, holy crap, I'm talking to Kane, the guy that I watched on the Kung Fu series when I was like 10 years old or something like that.
You're talking to Bill. Talking to Bill.
It was kind of a surreal moment,
Oh, that's at least you got a good story out of it.
That and killing James Caan in another movie that Jesse brought me on, where I think he was a stunt coordinator on that. If I'm not mistaken, you should double check with him.
Okay.
It was a movie called For the Love of Money. It was a female director. And Jesse said, hey, Dom, you want to come and kill James Caan for me? when he told me that, and I'm like, James Caan did something wrong to you, Jesse? In my head, the old soldier comes out. He goes, no, Dom, in the movie. I said, sure, come in. And that was a cool scene. You bust in the door and shoot James Caan when he's in the bed. And I'm like, hey, man, I got to kill James Caan for the gut water. It's like that was a really cool moment.
Oh, wow. It's a trophy for your fireplace there, man. Oh, how funny is that? Hey, if Jesse's still watching, he should just bring you to every meeting every industry meeting he has. Just bring you with him, and you don't say anything. You just stand there. And
Just
look.
stand there.
Whatever you want, Jesse. Whatever you want here.
It's funny. When I go on the set and stuff, it sometimes doesn't seem real. I understand I'm a blue collar actor. 2 decades of struggle, auditions, lots of rejection.
Yeah.
I'm still that guy on the set. The producer walks right past me to shake the hand of that better known actor or star that is standing right next to me. And in some people's mind, I'm just that small part B-movie actor, a failure really by Hollywood standards. But what nobody talks about is that by losing and feeling what it's like to fail, you really find out what you are made of. It will bring the best out in you and show you real character. Show what you're made of in bad times, people that have easy success, fame and money, that will never teach you that. And in the end, it will leave you ill prepared for the tragedy that life really is. And it will hit you so much harder in the abyss of old age and when your end is near than a guy that had to come up struggling like that.
Right.
So deep down, I'm glad that I came up the way and that it took that long for me. Because a lot of my Legion brothers and guys that I worked as an independent with, they're not here anymore. When I joined the Legion, I was prepared to finding a good debt. For a 2-rep Legionnaire, a good debt is supposed to be the warrior's greatest accomplishment. Surfing the war zone, looking for that perfect weight you can catch that can give you that ending, but it never came. And I realized, man, I'm 25, 26, I'm still alive because I didn't think I was going to live past 25 when I joined the Legion. Yeah. And then you start realizing maybe I'm going to grow old like a regular person. And then you start to understand that you don't have to go off to war. You don't have to do crazy stuff. Life in the end will have its tragedies, and they will come for anybody that is born on this planet.
Oh, man. Well said. That's some great advice, too. Very, very great advice. It's in a way you never gave up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it made, like you said, it made you stronger, right?
Oh yeah.
Going through all that
Same
stuff.
for Jesse. Look at Jesse's career. Jesse has proven himself again and again with no budget, and he delivered. He's like that prize fighter that keeps winning his fights by knockout, but doesn't get that title shot because of politics.
Yeah.
It's long overdue, and it's time for a big studio film for Jesse and for a studio to notice his talent because he's one of the best action directors out there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying that because he's been my friend for all these years.
Yeah. Well, I've been saying it. I just met Jesse last week. Yeah. I've been saying it for years.
It's time that someone out there says, hey, give this guy, a big budget film and he'll blow the lid of the pots, Oh,
he's gonna kill it. He's on his way. He's on his way. But really quick,
I told Jesse when we first met,
Yeah.
I told Jesse you're a lot like me, not in the way that you go to war, but you're a pit bull. When you have you joined to something, that mother effer doesn't let go. And eventually you pay your dues long enough, it's gonna pay up.
That's right.
Yeah. Stick with it.
Yeah, he's on his way. I think he's already there, in my opinion.
He's
on
there,
his way.
Yeah. I'm talking it's time for $100 million or whatever budget.
Yeah. He's gonna kill it.
Oh yeah.
And you're gonna kill it in whatever movie he makes. Speaking of, how was it working with these guys, these legends?
Man, I have to give a shout out to Ron Smorenberg. That guy is one of the kindest. He's a good martial artist and all of that stuff, and awesome kicks for a big guy like that.
Oh yeah.
Very unusual. But he's one of the kindest people I've met in the movie industry, and that it's tough to find good, decent people in this industry. Yeah, Ron is a really, really good guy. Tony was very easy to work with. So was Equo and all those guys. Tony asked me one day, I showed him some pictures on my phone from my brutal past. And he goes, hey, Dominic, what movie is that from?
Uh-huh.
No, Tony. This is from real life. This is in the military. That was in the Foreign Legion and me as an independent, private soldier. He goes, oh, real life, no movie. He went through it. He said, no, Tony, no movie. That's real life, brother. And he looked at me and he's like, oh, I started cracking up. We both started cracking up, looking at each other.
Oh
Easy guy,
man.
good to work with.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome, awesome. But I was happy to see you in the lead again in The Mercenary. And I really enjoyed this, man. This was a straight up badass, balls to the walls action, throwback. We going back to what was badass in the 80s and the early 90s, son.
Right.
You know, so Samurai Guy had to show up and represent. But yeah, man, it was a lot of fun. And of course, working with Louis, man. How was it working with that guy several times?
Louis is a gem, because I hadn't done stuff as the main guy for a while, and Louis really made me look good. There was no ego there, and the guy played off me, and he was really real fun to work with.
Yeah,
I
enjoyed you guys' fight.
Yeah, him and Carmen, they really made me look good in this movie. I wish we had a little more time to do the fight stuff, but other than that, I'm very proud of that film. And that movie was made with some of my pink mist savings, as I call it.
Oh.
Savings from the years of making Pink Mist and some other people that believed in me putting some money into this thing, So no, I'm very proud of this film, and it was great to get to team up with Jesse again. We had a different director attached to it before because Jesse was busy doing back-to-back movies, but no one can pull off the action like Jesse does.
Yeah.
Couldn't, the other guys couldn't do it.
No. You got a Boomrock here saying The Mercenary was awesome, top 10 worthy from last year. So he's a fan. But yeah, it's these type of stories, they never get old. The whole redemption story.
The Max character, I created that character for a graphic novel that I was working on.
Oh.
And then when the company that was going to do the graphic novel, they pulled the plug on it, and I was devastated because, I had the graphic novel was called Vive la Mort originally, but the Max character is one of the characters out of the graphic novel. And what we don't explain in the first Mercenary movie, when the Max character gets his throat slashed in the sequence, he actually dies there. And when you see him walk to the burned out wasteland, he's in purgatory, walking through hell. What we never explained in the movie is that the Max character is, they called passengers. And they're people, when they get killed, they can travel back on another person that is about to die's lifeline and come back to life. So when the priest finds him in that alley where he finds Max, that was a druggie dying there from an overdose. And the passenger character that is Max, he travels back on that druggie's lifeline that is about to die, and the body of the druggie transforms into Max. He's part of this. He's part of this old group of people that are called passengers.
And interesting.
And they can be killed and go to. But if someone at the same time is dying, that they are being killed, they can travel back on the person about to die's lifeline and come back, and that person's body morphs into their bodies.
Wow.
They call passengers, and there's a whole clan like that, and they follow each other in the graphic novel.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. Wow, that's like a totally different
It's a totally different take on it.
Wow.
But like I said, because of budget constrictions and all that stuff, we couldn't go. And hopefully, if we do Mercenary 2, we can go into the whole passenger background. And then also, because these guys, they're not immortals, but like immortals, they're 100-some years old.
Okay.
There we can go visit the early days of the Legion, the modern Legion, him as a mercenary. He's getting a family. His wife gets old and dies. His kids get old and dies, but he keeps living. So he keeps rejoining the Foreign Legion. So we can show the whole Legion history from the beginning during Cameroon, during modern day Legion.
Wow. Yeah. That's really fascinating. Oh, there's no maybe. Jesse, you going to make that happen, sir? Make it happen.
I hope
Mercenary 2. It's confirmed right here on the channel. No, I was kidding.
Fingers crossed.
That's right. That's right. You heard it here first. But yeah, the whole redemption type story, I enjoy that.
It
never gets old.
It never gets old, and I have so much in common with my life. The whole thing, it's a redemption. Whether it's the Legion, coming back into civil life, being able to move on. When I first, on the first months that I was in America, I would get calls from friends that were still independent soldiers or work as private military contractors in Africa and stuff like that. And they would offer me jobs. It paid a lot of money to go and pink mist some clown somewhere. But I didn't want to go back to that lifestyle. So that's why I originally got a dog. And by having a dog, a pet, the dog needed someone to take care of him. I couldn't go off and get shot up or killed to that lifestyle. And that's the reason that kept me here. And I always kept on getting dogs. Because the animal gave me something that I had to take care of and stay here. That was before I was married and did not something like that.
Yeah.
But that helped me redeem myself and not go back to what I was doing for a living before.
Right. Wow. Well, you got to love animals. You know?
Yeah.
They become family over time. You know what I mean? Yeah. But this was my favorite fight in the movie. Like this was, I mean, I enjoyed all the action, but this was just phenomenal, man.
We shot that thing in like a half day or something, a little bit over half a day.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But now, bam, going back to World War II, son. Hell hath no fury. That's right.
Hell Had No Fury. Even if it wasn't in that movie, I would recommend this movie to any of my friends that love war movies, action, suspense, drama. It's a damn good film. I'm patting myself on the back. It's a movie that is action, suspense, drama. It's very well acted, and it has an unusual story. Some people might think it's another woke, washed Hollywood film where a 100-pound girl beats up a bunch of hard combat veterans like you see a lot lately in Hollywood movies, especially in the Marvel stuff. But Hell Had No Fury is nothing like that. Marie, the main character, gets what she wants by outsmarting, outwitting the men she's up against. She's sometimes very vulnerable in this film, but she uses that vulnerability in a cunning way to get what she's after, the way only a woman can do in real life. It's not like she's going in hand-to-hand combat with these guys.
Right.
She finds her ways that are very cunning and to get, where she wants to go.
Yeah.
That's what makes it so cool and different from some of the woke stuff that is out there.
And, when I saw the trailer for the first time with Jesse last week, it was phenomenal. It was a great trailer. And we're going to watch it again before I let you go.
Yeah, awesome.
But the first time I watched it, not once at all did I think woke.
No.
Not once. I was just this looks great.
Trailer the first time when they put it on YouTube and some people were writing stuff, and I said, these guys have no clue, because you have to watch the movie to really, it's very, very different. It's very well directed. It's just a very, very all-around good film. I don't do martial arts in it. I do straight acting in it, but I have to say it's probably my best work as an actor.
All right. Copy that. So let's talk a little bit about your character. Look at this guy.
Clement.
Yeah. Without spoilers, because we want people to see the movie. But Jesse, his comment earlier, I was going to ask this anyway, Jesse, but he's like, have Dom talk about his character.
When I read a script, I always analyze the character. If I'm about to play someone, I dream about how he would be if he was a real person, and I build a separate story around him that is not necessarily talked about in the script. I draw from that to create a more nuanced individual. So to me, Clement, as it was in the script, he was a French freedom fighter. But in my mind, he was a soldier during World War I before he fought in World War II, because he's a little bit older.
Yeah.
So in my mind, he was a French Foreign Legionnaire fighting the Germans in the trenches during World War I. Right. That was Clement for me. Clement was also a character, even though he's a brutal soldier and an expert on explosives and a freedom fighter and all of that stuff, there's something very naive about him when it comes to women. He's in love with Marie. He would do anything, for Marie. And when he finds out that Marie thinks that when he didn't show up to the pickup point, that he betrayed her, that devastates the guy. That's the love of his life. And
Right.
here he finds out that she thinks that he didn't show up at the pickup points.
Ah.
He was just following orders.
Right.
He didn't know that he was supposed to be there. He thought she was taking a different way to come to where the whole group was.
Gotcha. So this is interesting already. Like from how you described, like there's history on this guy. He's a little bit older.
There's a history on this guy. He's a little bit
been through
older.
some shit.
By the time he becomes a freedom fighter for World War II, he was many years before. He was in the trenches during World War I, stabbing people to death with a bayonet. So he has all that background. He's a brutal mofo in this movie, but he also has a very innocent, naive threat to his character. Gotcha. I would say that him and Joseph Cannon, who plays the American GI, are probably from the guys the most likable characters, because he has a real naivety to him that makes him likable, even though he's a brutal killer. Yeah.
Well, I'm excited. I especially to see more of your acting side, man. I can't wait to check that out.
It's also the first film where I speak in French, which is great. Because I get to speak throughout the whole movie in French, which I've never done before. Nice. I did a movie long time ago where I speak some Dutch, but this was the first time I got to speak in French, and I had to polish up on my French because it's been a long time. And my French, I said, oh, the French that I speak is like Legion French. It's like slang.
Right.
So I said, okay, I'm gonna make this guy in my head. He's an ex-legionnaire that has now become a freedom fighter, so it makes sense he would speak Legion slang.
Yeah, nice. That's a nice take on it. Yeah. Was this your first time working with Daniel Bernhardt?
Yes.
How was it working with Daniel?
Daniel's a really nice guy. You're gonna say everyone is a nice guy. I'm gonna give you some bad stuff on people. Daniel was a super nice guy. I'd worked with Louis before, obviously. Loved the guy.
Louis the man.
Murphy, worked with him on many things. First film we did, The Honorable, he was in there. Luc Lafontaine, all of these guys. First time for me to work with Daniel. And the guy was easy to work with. And separate from being the actor part, he was also a good guy. Decent guy.
Oh, nice.
Nice. People that weren't such good guys that I've worked with was originally called Charlie Valentine, The Hitman Diaries.
Right.
Was Michael Weatherly. That guy was a punk.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. I had a whole fight scene with that dude. And I was very gentle on everything with the guy. And at the end of filming that movie, because he's on that show NCIS or whatever he's on.
Yeah.
I said, hey, Michael, is there any way I can give you my reel to give to the casting lady? Maybe I can come and play a little part on NCIS or whatever.
Yeah.
And he looked at me and he said, yeah, maybe you can play my best friend too. And he walked off without taking my reel or anything.
Wow. What a dick.
I'm like, yeah. And in my head, I'm like, what a punk that guy is. So I had quite a bit of experiences like that too. But I just, you don't talk about that. You let it slide and stuff like that. But usually the people that I work with Jesse, they're decent people.
Right. Oh, that sucked. That guy was a dick.
I'm not some brown noser that tells everyone it's great.
No.
I tell.
Tell it like it is.
Tell
it like it is. That's right. You real. Like Artisan74 says, light him up, dude. We have Nate Dogg says, Dominique is such a down-to-earth type of guy. I love the interview so far. Well, thanks. I'm glad you're enjoying the interview, Nate Dogg. Thank you. But we've come towards the end. I am excited to see Hell Hath No Fury. And just for fun, me and Dom are going to watch it again with you guys. We're going to watch the trailer. Not the whole movie, sorry. You got to pay to see the movie. Pay to see the movie.
Box, yeah.
But yeah, man, let's check this out. And then we'll let it be a wrap for today because I know you're an extremely busy guy. Brand new dad, so I know you're really busy.
Yes. My baby is right there waiting to eat with us.
Oh, okay. Let me hurry up.
She's very respectful. She doesn't eat, even if I work 16-hour days and I come home at 1 a.m, she will not eat until I come home and eat. It's unbelievable.
Wow, look at that.
I tell her, don't wait for me. She says, no, I want to wait for you. That's the woman that I got.
All right, let's have some fun. Let's watch this again. Have a good time here. Hell Hath No Fury. I am excited. Let's go.
You want to tell us where that gold is? Maybe we can all go home. I'm doing my best to remember. I promise.
If I were you, I'd keep real still, Marie.
You gotta love Louis, man. Louis is great. That guy's great.
Awesome, dude.
And like I was saying with
Fighting is
Jesse,
over.
man,
Freedom.
like again, the cinematography is really good in this movie.
Ne tire pas. Je suis résistante.
Then we're going to tar and feather that girl. She begged us to help her. Promised the major buried treasure.
Nina reminds me of Margot Robbie a bit.
This will not end
Yeah,
nicely.
yeah.
No gold, Major.
You're the one that told us there was gold here, Marie.
For that gold. Oh shit, he's coming, the man. Oh, there he is. There he is. Ooh,
They here waiting for us.
was that you rolling in that hole
She's
there?
a liar.
Holy shit.
Hitler's elite guard. Think there's a chance they just pass us by?
Hell no, they're coming. We will let you live. You gotta help us kill
Candy,
these Nazis.
candy.
You said you can shoot. The question is, can you really?
Let's go.
If we ambush them just right, they die. We won't stand a chance.
Dude, these are my kind of movies, man. I love shit like this.
Don't you see? She's using you.
One clever trickster, Marie.
Maybe we put down these guns. We all get a little piece of that gold. We got a deal?
No more deals.
Yeah. Yo.
Yeah, hell, that's no fury, baby.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Woo.
Still
Still excited.
The music that he always does for Jesse's films is kicking ass.
Oh
Just
yeah.
Sean's music is just every time I watch Jesse's films and with Sean's music on it, it's like,
Yeah.
wow, this guy kicks ass too, you know?
Woo. I'm still excited. I'm just excited watching the trailer the first time. You got Artisan saying, "Oh damn, this looks amazing." That's right. And AJ Mason going, "Yeah, woo." Love stuff like this, man. So this is the perfect way to end the interview. I could talk to you all day, brother, and talk movies and martial arts and
One more thing before I take off. I
Go
write
ahead.
poetry too, and you can check it out on YouTube. Some of it is really hardcore, but
okay.
guys that like poetry, want to see the poetry that I write, please check it out.
Do you want to
Thank
give
you.
us something?
Thank you
Give
so
us
much.
something right now
Yeah.
before you go. Do you want to give us a poem before you go?
We think we can write the future for ourselves, but that's never really the case. Even when you do everything right or you think you are, life will throw things at you that are unpredictable and you can't control.
Love it. Love it. I had to blow you up there. You had to get, you had to get deep here. We had to get deep. Love it.
Thank
Dom,
you. Brother. Appreciate
Dominique, Mr. Dominique, again, it was an honor to have you here, my friend.
Uss.
And like we say always, uss.
that. Yes.
No more stretching. I won't do any bootleg. I'm going to botch it. I'll let you do the stretching.
Thanks for the opportunity.
But yeah, man, like we tell our guests, make this your second home, my friend. You're welcome back anytime to promote anything or just to hang out and talk movies. Anytime, my friend, you're welcome back here.
Anytime.
And chat, everybody watching, make sure you support Hell Hath No Fury. Buy it, see it, spread it. Let everybody know. Let everybody know. All right. And if God willing, if everything works out this week, we will have Nina Bergman here in the Movie Dojo. That's right. This Wednesday. She's extremely busy, but I'm trying to get her as well. So more. This Hell Hath No Fury week, son. That's how we rolling. So stay tuned for that interview as well. That's right. Support Dominiquie Vandenberg. Check him out for the future films he's going to be in. Go ahead and go buy them back catalog as well, because we all know when the magic happened. That's right. And if you don't own Pit Fighter, son, you're not an action movie fan. You want that action movie cred? Go out and buy Pit Fighter and The Mercenary. All right, Dom. I know the little one's hungry.
Thanks,
I'm sorry.
Thank you
Thanks
very much.
again. I'll see
Appreciate
you next
it.
time, my friend. Take care, brother.
Thank you.
All right.
Uss.
Us.